Welcome to the pod.
Thank you, man. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. I got 3 million views on one platform? Which
Yeah,
one's that?
on the Cendejas TV channel. Yeah,
go.
links in the description.
Wow, okay. Shout out me.
I tried to do some calculations of your views on Instagram.
Yeah.
But there's just like no way of knowing because
Right,
you
yeah.
like the volume you post at. It's hard
Yeah.
to gauge. But I know
Man.
I know you probably have a couple million on there.
I definitely do,
Yeah.
yeah. And I remember it was like 2022. I posted over 5,000 videos online in 1 year.
Damn.
And it was like I was pumping so many videos out. So just, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, I was doing all of it.
Holy
So yeah,
crap.
shout out any content
Yeah.
creator out there. What's up? I'm excited to be on the pod. Thank y'all.
Are you monetized on Instagram, TikTok, and Meta?
No,
No?
TikTok you need 10,000 followers. Instagram, it's I think similar.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once
What you're at like 2,000 right now?
On
Give or
Instagram,
take? Yeah.
1,800 something.
Nice, hell yeah, dude. I think when we first started working together, you were at like either 12 or 1,400.
I had just broken 1,000. Yeah.
So
was
it's like
just before that.
So for backstory, when I first started my business, I was probably like a year in, but in Nancy's class, that's actually how I met Matt. And without you, bro, anything I'm doing right now, impossible.
Bro,
So
dude,
literally,
thank you.
if I didn't go up to you that day and if you didn't say yes, I don't think any of this would be happening right now.
No, bro, shout out you and anybody listening. Shout out Andrew. So I did a speech at a class, and at the end of the class, I was like, yo, anybody in this room down to do YouTube or make content, hit me up, because I'm like making a lot of videos and just making content. I wanted to meet anybody, and I still put this out there to the world. Like, yo, if you want to shoot content or just make anything, like, hit me up. And you just came up to me after the class and were like, yo, I'm down for YouTube. I'm down for content. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then we made videos, and I hired you, and you were making videos for us for a while. YouTube dude, the thumbnails. Dude, don't sleep on Andrew's thumbnails, dude. These thumbnails that you made for me were goated. So
Thank you.
Along with a lot
The
of other
thumbnail
stuff.
game is strong. We do headshots in here, and we have like
Yes.
several different headshots, so we have like a different face for each episode.
I've been loving it. That's good.
But it can't just be a boring headshot, It has to be like a lively face, like surprised or like
Definitely.
So-
Yeah, if you look at Mr. Beast's channel or like Higher Speed, like it's just the face with like dramatized.
yeah, the dramatic face. We've been
Yeah.
experimenting with that.
I think I'm gonna experiment with different thumbnails for this channel because our faces aren't recognizable yet. So like doing like maybe like the guests and then having the thumbnail answer a question. Same with the title. And then like the thumbnail kind of describes that to make the viewer click and get hooked within the first 10 seconds.
I see.
So that's
Yeah, a lot of podcasts will do the guests
Yeah.
too, like highlight.
All right, before we get into all the nitty gritty details,
Yeah.
we're everywhere right
let's
now.
let's start from the beginning of your career, and something that we all have in common here. Your degree in business administration from Cal Poly Humboldt.
Yes.
Did you, when you first entered higher education, did you intend on and plan on doing business administration, or is that something you found through during your higher education?
No, so I was pretty anti-business for a while, and I was going to CR for fire science. Graduated from CR, wanted to get a recreation administration degree. I wanted to be a firefighter, and I thought, okay, I'll learn. I want to get a bachelor's in something so I could be a captain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You have to have a bachelor's degree to be a captain. So I was going to do recreation because that's fun. You learn leadership. You learn how to like manage a group of people or manage a project or a team. I'm like, that's along with firefighting, which it was. But also I was running a nonprofit, so it was like aligned with that. But while I was running the nonprofit and doing business stuff with the nonprofit world, I was just kind of anti-business. I didn't like the corruption. I didn't like the icky feelings. I like what I had a perception of, of what business was. I didn't like it. So I was just like, no, I'm not a business guy. I'm like a nonprofit guy. But that was to my detriment because I never really got into business until I was forced to take a marketing class, and it was Nancy's class. Because to have a rectory, you need a minor in business. Once I took that class, then I realized, business can be used as a force for good. And then I took another one in Nancy's class, and then some other business classes, learned how to write a business plan. and then was still eager to be in school. So I actually got a bachelor's in recreation, and then went on and got a master's in business. So I got on the business train pretty late, but I was like, I wanted to like do nonprofit stuff. That was my gateway to business.
Nancy's class was the turning point of you being like, oh, business can actually be used for good.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, it was a marketing class, so I didn't really understand marketing until that class, and then realized like, oh, okay, you can like shape people's like perception of things, like on how you can communicate like a product or service, and like I don't know, that just like blew my mind. I'm like, oh, okay, like I can articulate things in ways that'll be like tasteful and not like, I don't know, just like scummy with a lot of like business advertising. You see, like you watch TV, you watch anything, it's just like, man, it's just like brain rot advertising.
Yeah.
So like if like you're talking to somebody who doesn't know the business, like when they think of marketing, it's like, I think they're thinking of just like the stuff that they're like consuming from advertising, which is just like, ugh, you know.
There's a weird like style from like corporate ads and then like organic ads, like the videos you make.
Mm-hmm.
Those are I would consider those organic ads because you're not
Yeah.
minus a couple of them, you're not pushing those out to a wider audience, and randomly they can just blow up. Like one of your recent videos got 10,000 views,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you didn't push that as an ad.
No.
Yeah, so
Yeah. It's all
that's like
organic.
the new age of marketing. Instead of getting a slot on a TV commercial and hoping that people buy your services or products, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got I got the bug from a marketing class.
So you take this marketing class with Nancy. Shout
Yeah.
out Nancy. I don't know what number of shout out that is for Nancy, but
Oh,
there's been a few.
So many. Yeah. I can imagine.
She changes your mind. She changes your perception on business. It's not this unethical, corporate slimy environment. Well, it can be.
It can be, but it also cannot be.
It also cannot be.
That's what made it tasteful for me. I was like, okay.
Totally. So so your outlook changes, and you're like, okay, I want to pursue business.
Yeah.
And you eventually graduate. What does graduation look like for you right out of school? What are your opportunities? What do you do?
Right when I graduated from my master's.
From your bachelor's.
So when I graduated from a bachelor's, I wanted more education, so I had to take a couple extra business classes for prerequisites. So I took like economics, financial accounting, and a finance class, so 3 different classes. And so I was just grinding those classes away, and then I was running a nonprofit all during this time.
And that nonprofit is?
This was Inspire One.
Okay.
That I started in 2015.
And what does Inspire One do?
So we would recruit people here, and they want to go and travel and do like voluntourism. So like volunteer and also like experience another country. We partnered with grassroots organizations in Peru and Uganda. So in a span of 5 years, we sent 31 people to Peru and Uganda, primarily Uganda. And we worked with village groups and did whatever they needed at the time, whatever projects they had going on. We just kind of jumped in and helped them out.
Awesome. So you had your own experience in Uganda. Was this after your bachelor's, after you graduated?
Yeah, no, this was all during like CR and during my bachelor's.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Tell me about that experience. How long were you there, and what did you mostly do while you were in that country?
Yeah, so I first went with a different organization before I started my own. But we partnered with this local group called Village Support Network in Bukwe, Uganda. So it's like Eastern Africa, by the source of the Nile River. So where the Nile River starts in Lake Victoria, it's like right near there. So I go there and I volunteer. I got super, motivated to do more with my like giving back and volunteering with my time on this earth. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back, start a nonprofit, and then take people here so they can also get inspired. And that's why I called it Inspire One, because I was like, man, I just got to inspire one person, and then they can go and make a big impact. Like, I know I'm going to make a big impact, but if I can just like inspire one other person, then that would be like critical. So that was like the basis of the name of it. So after 31 people, like there was like one person that like really did, like, I feel like expand like my vision into like his world of just like giving back and doing like so much good. Shout out Justin Furtado. He's just a goat in his community now that he's made down in LA. But so super motivated from volunteering there. Came back here, started a nonprofit myself, recruited, brought volunteers every summer from like 7 to 9 people. Trips, super fun. Worked with the village group called Village Support Network, who I originally met when I went there first, and like women's groups were out there that we were partnering with. School of orphans. It was like 80 kids at first, but after the 5-year span, we ended up installing a roof, a rainwater catchment system, building a fence. Soccer balls weren't flying in the streets and kids weren't getting hit by, cars anymore. So like helped out a lot. Now there's like 100 kids and like have a chef, and yeah, the school is doing well. Ended up purchasing the school for the village.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, did a GoFundMe, raised 13,000, bought the school, gave it to them. So that was like the exit. It was like,
That's awesome. I have a personal life goal that I recently put for myself, and that is see all 7 continents before I die.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's like a bucket list goal.
dude, sweet. Yes.
And so
I got 5. Let's go.
Yeah, nice. I want to do that, and the way you did it, going and helping other people, volunteering is a really beautiful way to explore the world and see other places.
Yeah.
So you go on this journey and you experience what I could only imagine to be one of the wildest experiences you've had in your life.
Oh yeah.
Going across to the other side of the planet, living there for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Eventually, you come back to the States, and after that experience, was your perspective and outlook on life different? What was different about your life after that experience compared to your life before?
Yeah, that's like a really good question. Well, I had just like it was overwhelming gratitude, like just every day, like living. From what I saw over there and from how people experience life was so far from what I experienced life here. So I just had like just immense gratitude like every day here, and I still feel that. I still think of those kids over there. I still think of the families. I get emotional just thinking about them, and like from experiencing something so impactful, you kind of just bring that with you like day to day. So I just like bring gratitude with me day to day, almost to the point where like I don't even be getting mad at a lot of things I should be getting mad at, because I'm just like, man, I'm so grateful. Like I'm not even gonna be upset with this right now.
That's true.
So-
I have noticed the way you go about things. You're just like never upset, never
Yeah.
pissed off. Like even like some of the problems that we've ran into, like from other people, where
Yeah.
like, where it's like you're just like so chill about it. Like
You gotta be, yeah.
it's pretty cool. What went right and what went wrong running the nonprofit?
I think what went right was doing a lot of continuous and consistent fundraising. So we did these rummage sales once a month, and it really was a way to like communicate with the community, like what we're doing. Like, so we always like have a reason to post and like talk and like, hey, donate this. Not everybody wants to donate money, but I figured this idea that we could accept like clothes or like rummage sale or yard sale stuff, store it in a storage unit, and then once a month take everything out of the storage unit and sell it at a yard sale. And some people would usually donate their yard. So basically I got the yards for free and I got the stuff for free, and then I'd just show up on a Saturday and sell things. And with the least amount of money we made on a day was like 500, but we'd usually make around like 1,000. So once a month we can make 1,000. So we're $12,000, earning a year on just these rummage sales, just getting like random things donated for free. I think that was something we did right, was just consistently doing a fundraiser that didn't burn everybody out. Like I couldn't burn out my volunteers. A lot of groups will, need a lot from their volunteers to function. And, I've been a part of the nonprofit world. I did Rotary. I've been president. I've sit on so many boards, and it's hard to like see people come and then go because of, they don't have the commitment. So I created like a low commitment way for people to volunteer and not feel like overwhelmed, like, show up in one day, once a month, and help us do this yard sale. And and you get a whole bunch of free clothes, or like you pick whatever you want for free. So that went right. Consistent fundraisers, not overwhelming volunteers. And then what went wrong? I feel like I really don't know. I wish I could ask all my volunteers that, but yeah, I'm unsure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is sponsored by AAA Productions, a Humboldt County video production company helping businesses create strategic, professional video content. If you've been wanting to start making video to grow your socials but don't know where to begin, AAA Production offers consultation and customized production packages to help you build a sustainable content strategy. Use the links below to get started today. Thank you, and back to the show. What ended up being the main reason why you stopped doing the nonprofit stuff?
Well, the main was COVID happened.
Really?
Yeah,
COVID was
so
the reason?
we were communicating with the nonprofit over there. We purchased a school in 2018, and then 2019 sent a volunteer, and then in 2020, we were talking about volunteer sending, and because every year we communicate that, and because usually the months were June and July, we would send volunteers. They have bunk beds ready for us during those months, at this safe house thing that we help build some infrastructure at. And COVID happened and that shut it down.
Wow.
Well, to walk away from that experience, do you feel like you've made a difference on their lives?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, it was, all for the kids. There's 100 kids at the school. They benefited the most from our efforts. Having a place where they could go to school is one thing, but they weren't being fed. So the need that I identified was like, dude, these kids are not being fed at the school, and they're here from 8 to 3. And who knows, dude, they come not eating breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Did they eat dinner before?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at kids who haven't ate since how long? I'm like, bro, I can't. What? And then they're literally like keeling over, like can't focus. Some of them are like just fading away. I'm like, dude, not all of them. Don't get me wrong. This is not like some, starved starved children's school. It was just that's the reality. Like some of these kids really were starving. I'm like, okay, got to get them a kitchen, got to hire some chefs, got to build them a fence because they can't be getting hit. I just felt like I could have an impact on them, identify the problems, but I wasn't trying to bring flushing toilets or solar panels, or like some people want to donate solar panels or donate like things that I could bring over there. And like, no, I wasn't bringing over anything. I'd bring over cash and infuse their economy, buy their local school books, or buy, whatever they needed, but purchase from them. I didn't want to just bring in stuff. But yeah, so I try to do it as ethical and just as mindful as I could.
So you made $12,000 a year just on fundraising. Did you do other stuff to supplement that the nonprofit income?
Yeah, that was like the last couple years. Other things that we did were fundraisers through Rotary. They helped us. Some of those raise like $5,000 in a weekend. Do like art and wine, or food and wine pairings.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you would use that money and you would infuse Uganda's economy.
Yeah, the local village
And
economy.
then how far does a dollar go in Uganda?
So at the time, $1 was like 4,000 their money. And if you want an amazing lunch with a drink and you're full, we're talking 500 of their money. So
that's like,
we're talking $1 a day is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Those commercials aren't wrong when they say like $1 a day can feed. Dude, $1 a day, they're hyped.
holy crap.
They're hyped.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Dude, it is amazing how far our money goes there. I don't know what it is now, but I'm sure it's the similar situation.
Yeah. So after COVID happened, you shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
What lessons did you take away into building Matthew's Lawn Care?
Well, I just always maintain that just like ethical and moral behavior. I started off in business as a nonprofit person, and I want to always be mindful of the world and my footprint and the trail I leave. Like one thing I learned in recreation administration, which I always like take with me, is the SLUG attitude, which is SLUG it's an acronym, stands for slow down, leave a trail, unearth the value, and go play. So sometimes you need to slow down, but sometimes you need to go play, and sometimes you need to like unearth the value. Unearthing value, that's like sometimes you're the bug or sometimes you're the windshield. Like sometimes like you're having a good day and sometimes you're not, but like there's always, you know, something valuable to take out away from the situation. So yeah, I try to just like keep these things that I've done in life, just keep the lessons like close with me and just trying to keep leveling up.
Yeah, there's a saying. It's if you're in a good mood for no reason, what is it? If you're in a good mood for, or if you're in a fuck,
It's probably fine. It's probably good.
isn't it? It's something like if you're in a good mood for no reason, your bad mood can be a good mood for no reason.
Man, that's a lot of math for
dude,
me
I
right
am.
there.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Fuck. Okay. Can you tell us more about MLC? Because on your LinkedIn, I think it says you've been running it for 10 years.
Yeah.
But so were you running it before you started the nonprofit or after?
Yeah, I mean, man, I've been making money from weed whacking for a long time. It's been like, that's the 10 years. I was posting on Instagram 10 years ago, hashtag hire me. And so that's where it started, where with the weed whacker that my dad gave me, and like 2015, and then just started weed whacking my mom's house, her neighbors' neighbors, and just started expanding. And then partnered up with this one guy, and he's like, "Hey, together you're really good at weed whacking. Together we can beat the weed whacking warriors." And so he's like, "I'll go get jobs, and you go get jobs, and like we'll weed whack." Okay, I did it. I did some jobs with him, and it was great. And then all of a sudden, he said, "Hey, well, if you get a job, you have to tell me first. Like you can't do it without me." And I was like, "What? Okay, that sounds weird." So learned quickly partnering with people. You know, people are just kind of like weird sometimes. So realized like, okay, I'm just gonna keep working alone. Kept being my own weed whacking warrior, and then got employees in 2021.
So you were running, guess Matthew's Lawn Care by weed whacking for a little while as a side hustle.
It was side hustle. It was just basically like posting on Instagram, and you know, just like that was the local guy with just like very minimal tools. You know, I wasn't doing big jobs. These were minimal things. You know, pay me $40 to come weed whack, or pay me $200. Like, you know.
So you this is 2015. You're just starting. You're going around with a weed whacker. I love it. You're just bootstrapping.
I'm weed whacking. I'm doing nonprofit stuff.
It doesn't get more
I'm going to
entrepreneurial
school.
than that. And so
I was working with kids with special needs
So you're doing a lot of different things at this point.
and volunteer firefighting. I was doing everything.
You're juggling, multiple activities. Did you ever see Matthew's Lawn Care going as big as it is today in 2015, or in 2015 were you just like, this is just a way to get some quick cash, or did you see it growing into what it is in 2026?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know that lawn care was the answer. It was on the back burner, and even so, after I had all my business knowledge, I went through school. What I thought was brilliant was to start a manufacturing company out of recycled plastic products, like Plastic to Life.
I have this on the list, so let's get to it.
Yeah,
you took a startup weekend idea and turned it into Lost Coast Plastics, where you serve as an executive director. Tell me a bit about that experience at Startup Weekend and some of the other competitions thereafter.
Oh, the best, dude. Okay, Startup Humboldt. Man, that's where dreams were made of. That was where I became a butterfly. So I came to Startup Humboldt Weekend, which was just one weekend. It was at Humboldt.
This is
State
2019,
University. 2019, yeah. And I was just told that this event is like a weekend event. Come with an idea to pitch, and then you'll be partnered up with the team and build a business plan. And then at the end of the Sunday on the weekend, you can pitch your idea, and the winner gets some money and resources. I'm like, okay.
I had one for my class.
Yeah, nice.
5 years prior, but I heard a lot of the inspiration for mine. Was based on this one that you did. So
yes, nice. I think I came and spoke at that.
You did.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Startup Humboldt I came with an idea and I pitched it. It was like 90 people in the room, and it was, hey, I want to collect plastic recyclables and take them, melt them down, and make new products out of that plastic. And then end up winning the pitch at the end of the weekend. Went to Future 4 and More, which is a different competition that was at the time, like Chico State, Sacramento State, and some other schools and us. Went to that, pitched it, ended up winning $7,000 to go, and then use that money to start the business. Basically, we were working with a local manufacturer to take like water tanks, pill bottles, water jugs from those items, shredded that plastic down and make doob tubes for like cannabis dispensary joints to make that. We were making the tubes for those, and then also making like 4 1/4 inch square tiles that are like commonly seen on backsplashes in bathrooms or around in kitchens. Talk to Pearson's, talk to dispensaries, talk to Humboldt Seed Company. We were about to launch and be. We were launched. We were making these products, but there's so much prototype testing in product making that I was not aware of. So we spent $7,000, and then we were like almost there. And I was like, okay, how much is it going to take to the next? Okay, it was going to be another like 10 to get almost there. And then, we got to spend $5,000 to make sure our tubes are like child safe or like child protectant or something. It was like, okay, all these hurdles with the tubes. Okay, let's go tiles. Then tiles were working, but it was so expensive just to compete with. By the time we did all the numbers and realized like doing the ethical way, doing the recyclable stuff, doing all this, we're competing with China, who's relentless in their pricing. It is just way more expensive to do recycled plastic than new plastic. So it was just too expensive, and then had to jump ship.
Totally. So you take on all these various nonprofit ventures prior to 2021, and then 2021 is when you really start to scale up with Matthew's Lawn Care. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What created that shift with your approach to business as far as being more of a nonprofit person prior to that, focusing on these various efforts with your other businesses, but deciding, you know what, I'm going to shift gears and double down on my lawn care business. What made you have that shift?
Yeah, so I had a phone call, and it was like August 9th of 2021 with my homie Justin.
Okay.
And he and I were talking, and he was in this pivotal time between businesses. Like, he was my entrepreneur buddy, where he was starting a business and I was, and we just kept trying and then kept like changing businesses. And so he was going from a nonprofit to like a for-profit type of vibe, and so was I. And so it was kind of like this, like we kind of bonded over that. And then we kind of just like committed to each other, like, yo, we're gonna like start these businesses, and we're gonna not look back, and we're just gonna like work as hard as we can. And like both, he's doing great in his business. He does like basketball coaching and basketball like youth camps, and he coaches in Venice and down in LA. So in his world, he's doing great, and my industry totally different. But we did Top of the Morning Tuesday, kind of like another podcast. Every Tuesday we talked for a year and a half. It was like 18 months. Every Tuesday, didn't miss a Tuesday a single time on Instagram Live. So we were like accountability partners, and would touch base on our businesses and talk about our wins and our failures and like what we're working on. Also on live. So we're just trying to be like fully transparent to the world. So yeah, that was the pivotal change was just like having a good like business friend to vibe with, and because it's lonely out here as an entrepreneur. You're just so lonely. I'm up so late. I'm up so early. I'm just alone. I have no one to talk to or vibe with on the struggles and all that. So like having someone, it's like, man, if you can find that as an entrepreneur, like find an entrepreneur homie to have those talks to.
When did sorry.
No,
When did you realize Matthew's Lawn Care was going to be your new full-time gig? How can I ask you how much you were making a month for you to be like, okay, this is full-time?
Like it was like a year in, like 2022, like that summer. I like when you got another employee. So once I got 2 employees, I realized like oh my gosh, there is a lot of money here. Like there's so many other lawn care companies. For a while, I was like, dude, there's no way there's room for me. Like always see lawn care companies and landscape companies. Like how is there more room? I just didn't think that was possible. But I kept getting phone calls, kept getting emails. People kept wanting their, bushes trimmed or their trees trimmed. Or like, okay, work is there. So now I need another employee. And then I realized, okay, this can really work. It's hard to say how much money I'm making a month because I do like any money I make, I just spend it, all of it. And so, when I was making 1,000 a month, I was investing it all in like, a new like chainsaw and a new weed whacker. And then the next month, make 1,200 and like, now let's, say I make like, 3,000 a month from landscaping. It's still all going back into the business.
Yeah. What was your peak month? How much did you make a month doing your doing Matthew's lawn care? What was your peak month like of all time?
In revenue.
Yeah. Gross revenue.
Gross.
Yeah.
We scratched like 20,000 on some months, and that right there told me like, wow, okay, that's I have like I could have a $250,000 business. If you make grow like $20,000, gross times 12, like that's like almost $250,000. So but like we have a slow season, and there's no way that 20. It was like an anomaly. We just had some big fence jobs, and it lined up, and and we have more employees in the summer. But I was talking to my business mentor, and he was like, okay, how do we gross you at 20K like every time? And it's easier to talk about than do. Things got to align pretty well. So that was like, but that showed me, okay, this is possible. Like if I work hard, even during the slow season, we could, get something.
Do you think it's still possible for somebody who wants to do lawn care to join the lawn care industry in Humboldt County?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many people out here, but a lot of them are one person, one truck. I think we're pretty unique in the market. We're a crew of people all born here and from here. So I think that's pretty special. That adds a lot of value.
Okay, so you scaled up this lawn care business. You're now a thriving lawn care business, a mogul in Humboldt County, and you are now teaching, or you have been teaching at College of the Redwoods. What's something from you running various businesses? What's something that you can pull from those experiences and teach and share with your class at College of the Redwoods?
Yeah, I pull a lot of lessons from my business into the classroom. We cover a lot in the intro to business class. It's an intro class, so we scratch the surface on a lot of topics. So we cover like a new topic a week. So when we're talking about finance or accounting, I give them examples of, my wins and failures in my bookkeeping and CPA world and accounting world. Or we're talking about marketing, I pull up stuff on my analytics and tell them exactly how I do my marketing, how I found my target market, and how I communicate with them. And I think it helps students a lot to see actual real life examples. So I love that I'm like a practitioner, like I am teaching business, but I'm actually doing it every day. I think I have a lot of value to bring to the students, so I try to do as much of that.
I think that adds a lot of value to a student because there are a lot of teachers that kind of tell you what to do, but either they don't do it themselves, so it's kind of hard for them to give those real world examples, or they did do it years prior, so maybe some of their knowledge is kind of outdated. But some of it still applies. But the fact that you practice it, like I remember I used to film some of his classroom lectures, and all the examples you gave were stuff that you actually did.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was a lot. I felt it gave a lot more value to me personally because you actually are doing it and you're giving it back to the students to help them.
No, for sure. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I think it does for sure. They need real examples.
Yeah, and you were talking about business mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find a business mentor, and how did you build those relationships over time entering the business world?
So something I tell my students too is micro mentors. I encourage people to seek micro mentors all the time, and so I have a lot of those, just micro people, even people I just DM. There's some people I call, some people I'll talk to at certain events, like just on a micro level, and just like extract some value or like talk about a certain like part of business. And what I find, because I'm a business nerd and because I'm in the business world, if I talk to another person who's also a business nerd or in the business world, they want to talk about that. So if you're somebody out there listening and you're like in this world, like don't be afraid to ask people questions. Like, I hope no one's afraid to come up to me and ask me things, because I want to geek out over this stuff. So, that's one of the words of encouragement. But yeah, I would just ask people to like go for lunch or go to dinner or let's go for a walk. One of my micro mentors, he would never want to sit down for a meeting. He'd be like, "Oh, we want a meeting. We go for a walk." So that, and I have used that technique. It's a great technique because you don't actually have to look at the person. So for almost 20, 30-minute walk, you're barely even looking at them, but you're walking forward and kind of like glancing at them a little. And that just helps you like open up in a different level. So I found them just by asking them, and people either in the nonprofit world or business world, just asking them like, "Hey, let's meet up and have coffee or whatnot." And I found that people are pretty likely to do it.
I have a buddy from school, Avon, and we met at the School of Business here at Cal Poly Humboldt, and I just caught up with him over the holidays.
Nice.
I went to Orange County, and we just like walked around, the mall
Yeah.
area for like 2 hours just talking. But it was amazing, like the things that you're able to discuss, because like you said, you're not looking at each other.
Yeah.
So you're really just looking into blank space and thinking about, like, you're articulating your next statement or your thoughts, or really listening to them instead of focusing on
Yeah.
their eyes or their facial or whatever, and that I really was able to relate with that experience.
Yeah. No, we should all use
and
that.
I think I really want to start doing that more. It's
Yeah.
just going for a walk, getting some steps and getting some exercise.
Dude, it's good on all levels. So yeah, and seeking mentors is so helpful. And I have ones for my marketing, or I have ones for just, man, this one guy I grew up with, he's so incredible. He sells software. Some of the software he sells is like starts at like 50 grand.
Whoa.
It starts at 50 grand a month.
Whoa.
If a month, yes, for websites where they have 10,000 plus users a day or visitors, you need all sorts of software. So he has just brilliant type of feedback for me all the time. I'll talk to him for 15 minutes, and it'll be as if I just like lived like 20 like months of like business, where like the things he tells me. One thing he told me that I always remember is like focus my time on revenue generating activities. So like identify what I do from day to day, and like actually he had me write it down of like what is like a revenue generating activity versus something that's not. Because sometimes like I like to bring my work trucks to the car wash and wash them, but I got 4 trucks now. Doing that, vacuuming, I like to do it on Sunday. So sometimes I'd spend like a couple hours just doing that. For me, it's kind of mindful. I like it. But he like made me realize like, yo, you cannot be washing the trucks and vacuuming the trucks. Like spending 2 hours of your time is not well spent if you're not doing like, I'm not making revenue from cleaning my trucks. Versus like spending 2 hours to maybe sit down and like email a few current clients and be like, hey, we're seeing a lot of fence quotes come in. Do you need a fence right now? Or like, it's like the winter. Do you need anything extra on top of what you're already getting? So like that would be like a activity that like could possibly give you revenue. So being more efficient with my time, and he helped me like articulate that in certain ways. Like that was just like a 15-minute conversation a few months back, and
You do estimates on Sunday too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever found yourself doing like bringing your trucks to the car wash instead of doing estimates, or do you kind of block out time for estimates and then time for?
Well, I don't like wash the cars anymore on Sunday.
Well, oh,
So I,
okay,
so I
okay.
stopped that. I was like, okay, I'll like stop doing that. Just spend my time better. But I still do estimates because that's like client visits. So that's like going to a possible client and talking to them about the project. But that's like a revenue generating activity. So, if they say yes, then that's like.
Do you want to talk about your truck getting stolen or your trailer
Oh yeah,
getting
that's fine.
stolen?
Yeah.
Can you run
Oh,
run
man.
me through that day or those
Yeah.
days when that happened?
So yeah, we just showed up to work one day, and I told my guy like, oh, go, put the leaf blower in the Tacoma, and he's like, well, where's the Tacoma? I was like, what? It was so strange, but it was gone September 9th, 2023 or I think, and or 2024, but it was just gone, and so I called the police, and they, got some information on it and we're like, oh, we're looking for it. But like, they're not like actually out searching. They're just like, if they happen to see it, that's how it kind of works. So it's like, all right, it's been a few days. And then I got a random phone call from somebody that was like, hey, I think I found where your truck's at. It's in Willow Creek. So, and ended up like driving out to Willow Creek, and I told the police like, hey, this is where it's at. But they weren't going to go do anything. So I said, okay, I'll go get it. And went and found my truck, but then they drove away. And then I called the police. I'm like, yo, it's really right here. And then they finally came, but at that point it was too late. So
Oh, you never got it back.
never got it back. But I saw it one last time. I saw it drive away in Willow Creek. I was like, bye, truck.
No.
But I was close. Almost got it.
No.
Vigilante style, but it's all good. Had to be safe.
Damn. Who ended up taking it? Was it just like some
Oh, yeah. It was just
like crackhead or
yeah.
something?
I honestly don't know. I got like something in the mail like a year later saying like, oh, we found the guy that it probably was, but there's no money back or anything. Yeah.
So what?
So in that case, you file insurance claim. Insurance gives you what they believe the market value is, and then I got a new truck after that.
And was that truck that you got after that
Mm-hmm.
one stolen? That's the one that just recently broke down.
No, that was. Oh, yes.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it
Dang,
was.
okay.
Yes, it was. But I used it for a year, and then it broke down, and then I bought another.
Your new truck's really nice.
Yeah, the new truck.
It's
yeah.
got that pressure.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah, it has an air
gauge.
compressor
Yeah,
like on the
that's so cool,
front,
dude.
like grill. It's so cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we're riding in style now. I finally got a truck that hopefully
Nice.
won't get stolen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Luke Kennedy, building manager at Startup Humboldt. Behind the Redwood Curtain is recorded and produced at Startup Humboldt. Startup Humboldt is a co-working space mentorship hub for entrepreneurs building real businesses here on the North Coast. You can learn more at startuphumboldt.com.
What can you tell us about Matthew's Lawn Care and starting a social media presence for that? And did you already had a social media presence before Matthew's Lawn Care?
Yeah.
What was your strategy going into starting an Instagram and TikTok and YouTube for Matthew's Lawn Care, and kind of tell us your thought process on that?
I know it's such a big world, the social media world. So I always knew it was very important to have like a personal brand, like outside of business. So with the podcast I created, it was Matthew Cendejas TV. The YouTube channel I created was Matthew Cendejas TV. This is all before Matthew's Lawn Care was really a big thing. My personal Instagram, I was always very present, posting stories. So when I was going to think about, okay, what do I call my lawn care business? I knew it had to be my name, like Matthew, and then Matthew's Lawn Care just seemed right. But my name in it was very important from the start. Be my face in it, my face being like in a lot of the videos, I know is very important. So that was like a big part of the branding was, okay, they need to know who Matthew is. When somebody hears Matthew, like in Humboldt, like I want them to think of me first out of like any Matthew, just so if my branding's powerful enough, like, so, yeah, that was a big piece. And I've been just,
So you've grown this public image not only for your business and businesses, but you've grown this public image for yourself. You know, you're yourself. You are a brand, and you are able to market. Just by promoting your businesses with your face and your word.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge with being a public image, being a public face out in the community?
Man, I haven't seen too many challenges. Sometimes like people will comment like weird things or like hurtful things or something on, because I post so much and
There's haters out there.
there's haters out there. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like, like, oh man, what you think about me that way? That's wild. Okay.
Sure.
But like I was posting Bayshore Mall stuff for a little bit, talking about the Bayshore Mall, and they were getting like 40 and 60,000 views on Facebook.
Yeah.
So a lot of local people. I was getting, like and being in the streets or stores, people would be like, "The Bayshore Mall guy, you're the Bayshore Mall guy," for a couple of weeks. So, but the comments were flooded with like, things like, "What does this guy know? Like, who is this guy? Like, he's clearly not from Humboldt," or just a whole bunch of like weird, hurtful things. Like, and people were DMing me like, "You got to take these down. This is making us look bad." Like, and then SF Gate did like some article on it, and now there's like TikTokers and YouTubers like doing Bayshore content. People like DM me like, "This is all because of you." Like nobody was talking about our mall until you were talking about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't say anything bad about it. All I said was, "Yo, do you know who owns it and manages it? Because it is fishy." Brookfield Properties owns it. They're a multi-billion-dollar investment fund. A 15th on the list of leading the world. So like behind Vanguard and BlackRock, 15 down is Brookfield Properties, so they don't give a s about anybody's local mall. So they have Spatino management group running it, who also doesn't give a heck about any community, and along with their other 400 small town malls that they're just letting run down in America. So I was talking about this and educating this. I don't think anybody locally, if they knew who runs that or what they are doing with it, they wouldn't like it. So I'm like, just trying to shine some light on that, but then people were like, "Yo, stop doing this." So I did actually stop. But
you got attention from the corporate guys who run it.
No, I didn't.
No, oh,
no,
okay.
I hope so.
Who said that you should take it down because it's making them look bad?
Oh, just people.
Really?
People,
Like
people are like, "Yo, you're making our community look bad."
What the heck?
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, bro, no, I'm not.
Honestly,
I don't think
Bayshore
so.
Mall is like the worst part about Humboldt County.
I know,
It used to be
and I was trying to say,
yeah.
it's like, yo, it's the corporations. Why it's empty is the corporations are having rent so high.
Yeah.
Like if they have $7,000 rent, none of us can host a store. If they had if they had $1,000 rent or $700, like we could do it.
There's nothing wrong with the Bayshore Mall, but it does need to be spruced up, and it needs people. It needs traffic. It just doesn't have the traffic that one would imagine a mall to have. And so, and if you live in Humboldt and you've been to the Bayshore Mall, like it's hard to argue with that like, that the Bayshore Mall has minimal traffic. Like I think everybody could agree on that. I don't know what the statistics are on the traffic there compared to prior years or whatnot.
Man, it's low. I know they got room for 140 different stores.
Yeah, just
believe it or not,
being
in the
there,
mall.
They have like
looking
3
at it.
stores now.
Yeah, so but people say that about the mall industry in general, and that whole the retail market, being outcompeted by online retailers, Amazon, and even the retailers that are there are moving to online platforms. So maybe, but I agree that I do remember you were talking about it needs to be like livened up a little. They need some something needs to be done differently.
That'd be nice,
there.
yeah.
And it needs to be some traffic needs to be going through there. So whatever it takes to make that happen. If you have fun ideas to do, make the Bayshore Mall more invitable. More traffic, drop them in the comments. We'd love to see some ideas. If anyone has ideas with the Bayshore Mall, go ahead. We'd love to hear them. I think it would be really cool. Drop it in the comments. Let's see what we get.
I'll buy
an
them all,
idea.
and then we'll.
Yeah, I was gonna say my idea is for you to buy them all. Have you looked into the property value of that?
They say it's like 25 mil.
25 million.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So these people that own it inflate rent price so high and then hold it for so long and basically artificially inflates the price. And before they go to sell it, what they'll do is like sell the Big Five right next door for an astronomical price. They'll sell it. Somehow it'll be like, oh, the Big Five sold for $10 million. Who bought that? Well, you'll look, if you trace it, it'll be the same people that own the Walmart. Will sell it buy it from themselves to artificially inflate a price, and then be like, and then these buyers will come in and be like, oh, this is the property value. But it's really like, this is a way what the multi-billion-dollar companies do to artificially inflate community prices. They will buy and sell things to themselves, then makes it look like on the market. So when your realtor goes to the market and they're like, oh, well, there's some, corporate buildings that are going for $5 million every year in Humboldt. Well, no, it's the same people that own it or the people buying it. It's called like eating your own dog food or drinking your own champagne. This is like corporate greed. This is the corporate like darkness that we don't even know about. We don't talk about this in business school. We don't know about it. This is a different level. This is so. It's unfortunate to learn about it because you can't even do anything about it. You can't. This isn't like any other business in Humboldt. You can find who owns it. You can talk to them. You can walk in and talk to the manager. The mall, you're not finding an email. You're not finding phone numbers. You're not finding anything. So
No way,
that
yeah.
is just like a whole different like type of ball game. So it's like it's cool to learn about, but there's nothing. No, I can't put any energy onto like actually making a change.
It feels like you can't do anything and you can't make a change, but I think in a lot of ways you are. I think that just advocating behind those beliefs on various programs, on various platforms like this, teaching your students that ethical behavior, changing the next generation.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think that maybe it looks like like you're not making a difference. How I'm not changing anything, but I think you're planting little seeds
Word.
and you're making change everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that your actions and your words and the platforms you show that on it does make a difference. So
Dude, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I want to encourage and motivate big time.
yeah, and it's very strong of you to come out and speak out against corporate greed and some of the unethical activities behind the business world that we're a part of.
Do you think that is it Brookfield that owns it?
Yeah, Brookfield Properties.
Yeah. Do you think that they're inflating the price to sell it to say BlackRock, and then they're gonna knock it all down and like say build like housing or something?
Well, their usual place like hold it for like 30 years, so they hold it for decades and decades, and then they'll go and to sell it, and like a selling strategy could take like 5 years if they want to like buy and sell some properties locally to like help inflate that price, or buy or sell like a mall or something in Weed or Reading to like get that price up or something. But yeah, that's a whole bunch of.
I think
crazy.
It is, yeah.
One way we can combat, some of the very evils that we speak about, is building a network and community that advocates against corporate greed and unethical activity in the business world.
Yeah, and that we're here right now in the building.
I think we're building that.
Yeah.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
And part of building that has been being part of Startup Humboldt.
Mm-hmm.
And you are on the board for Lost Coast Ventures.
Yeah, shout out.
Tell me a little bit about, when did you start on the board at Lost Coast Ventures? What's your involvement in that venture capital firm?
Yeah, so I originally met like the original brain behind the Lost Coast Ventures, Dan and John. Originally met them. It was like January 2022 or something, 2022 or 3. And they proposed the idea to like be on the board of Lost Coast Ventures, which is, creating an ecosystem, an environment, a fund for small businesses to offer, money and resources for small businesses to succeed in Humboldt. That aligns with my mission. I do that free for years. I've done free, like types of, speakings, and my YouTube channel has free advice. My podcasting has free business advice. Like I'm here for the small businesses in Humboldt. So like I really was like, I'm in. Like if there's an opportunity to be on the board, I'm in. And I told them that, and I didn't know for sure. I think they were trying to, assemble like a good team of local people that would be on a board that would have a network in different pockets of our community, and I think they've chosen a great board. I'm honored to be on it. There's a board of 5 of us, and we all fulfill a unique role on the board and have unique perspectives. I'm the young entrepreneur boots on the ground person on the board, or has a cool perspective. I think they honor my perspective, that what I bring to the table. But when I look at across the table, who I'm looking at, I'm so just grateful to be in that room with them. And some of the people on the board have done really cool things, and I admire and I look up to them. So we exist to support small businesses in Humboldt County. Then that helped, cater to the Startup Humboldt building. So if you're listening and you know the Startup Humboldt building and Arcata, LCV helped, make that happen in various different ways. But just being a big support system, we're a support system for Humboldt, and I'm stoked to be part of it.
Yeah, we had John and Dan on the
Nice.
podcast, and we were able to capture their story and their perspective. Tell me about your relationship with those two.
Yeah, so they come to Humboldt a few times a year, but now they're coming more because of this building, which is cool. So we meet up, we have get food, catch up whenever they're up here. But my relationship with them is they're colleagues, mentors, individuals I talk business with. I catch up with when they're in town, but it's never as much time as I'd like. It's short, but they're busy people. But they're incredible, and I always try to extract as much value as I can for them when I'm around them.
And you, so I'm assuming you kind of got word of the Startup Humboldt, project before it was, actually open.
Oh yeah, years. Yeah, we've been talking about this idea since the very start of LCV. So since 2022, a vision of creating a hub for small biz, like an entrepreneur ecosystem, was that was always in talks.
Can you share some of the first ideas you guys had versus what is here now?
I mean, I'm not. I mean, everything we talked about is technically confidential, so
Okay,
I gotta be a little, I can't.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. But it's really, things that we talk about are really not far off from what's going on. It's really cool to see the things that we talked about, having a space where people can come and meet, having a space where there's guest speakers can be there. I mean, faced with chairs and tables and maybe different rooms and offices. I mean, we the things that we, we're trying to envision that would be cool for Humboldt, are all of a sudden here in one building. But there's different, there's not just Lost Coast Ventures that made this possible. But I think we had a cool vision, and Chris Gaines and Lonnie Graffman, Lonnie's not on the board, but Chris Gaines is, and they are both so gung-ho for this type of ecosystem, the Startup Humboldt entrepreneur ecosystem, creating a support system for businesses to feel there's somebody to call or somebody to go to for, help. That's not just the Small Business Development Center. They're in here and they're a huge support, but now there's it's talks, and there's the competition, and there's just so much more than just the Small Business Development Center now, which is so incredible.
Doing the competitions in school was really awesome. I learned so much from that one-day experience, and I'm sure you learned a lot from your experience with Startup Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it for students to be involved in activities like that? And I know startup business competitions. Incubators are popping up all over at all different schools and cities. How important is it in higher education to be attending those, being a part of those, learning from that activity as a student?
So in terms of those type of weekends, those startup type of
what's the
ecosystems?
importance as far as what students are able to learn and gain from those activities?
It was, like you said, it was so impactful for me. Going through it changed my life and how I look.
You said you said you were able to you were like a butterfly.
Yeah, I became a butterfly
from the cocoon. Yeah.
Yeah, because man, I didn't know all these things were that doable. I think we don't realize how capable we are, and so some of the most groundbreaking things I think we can go through is realizing oh, I can, And like the sooner we realize like, oh, I can do something, whatever it is, it can be cooking or, whatever it is, but when you realize you can do it, that's just like confidence. It's like beyond, it's, oh man, all of a sudden I'm feeling whole. So that was, I felt like a butterfly. I'm like, okay, I started a business in a weekend with a team. Like now I'm going to go start a business and for real. And so that, confidence, building, like times 1,000. So I always, encourage my students to seek out something like that, seek out learning, seek out those type of events, or even the mixers, going to business mixers, and which is just a little micro networking event, but super helpful.
Going to those is huge.
Yeah, you can, build your network, build your confidence, just practice that muscle, because it really is a muscle. You need to work that muscle out a lot.
Totally.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gone to mixers.
Yeah.
I heard about them in school, and I was like, I used to be like kind of stubborn and naive. I was like, I don't need no mixers. And then I was like, wait, mixers are like the most important thing to go to, because I've met so many people from going to mixers, and like us going there together and like shooting content and like just mixing with a bunch of people, like game changing.
Yeah. I think it's really, if you want to achieve anything, it's just as simple as like identifying who's in that industry and community, try to be around these people, and then do that enough times and like try really hard.
I was a mixer classic. I still am a mixer regular, and that's actually how I got my job opportunity here. And I share that on the podcast with Matt and Gloria. What we didn't learn in business school. Go check it out on Spotify.
Link in
it's
the
an awesome podcast. Try to find mine. I tell that story about how I was able to leverage this mixer into a job opportunity out of school. And I'm very fortunate for that. I'm very lucky to have that opportunity. And if I didn't have that opportunity, I'm not sure if I would have been employed out of school. And I know that thousands of students are graduating university, and they are struggling to find work. They're either unemployed or they feel that they're underemployed. And there is this growing skepticism of higher education. Is the bachelor's degree still worth it? Are you going to get a job out of school? And is that job going to be able to pay back your student debt? So people are growing skeptical of the college degree. However, the three of us have gotten opportunity from our degree in business administration.
Yeah.
Are people right to be skeptical of college education? Is it still worth it to pursue a college degree?
So, okay, that's a very good question. Now, I teach at a college, so I'm, in that system, but I have a very passionate belief in this, that I think we got to break down like to an individual's subjective like choice and like what is good for them. So, and college isn't always expensive. Like I grew up in this community and I chose to go to CR and then to Cal Poly Humboldt, and that route was the least expensive. I could have done what my friends did and go to UC Santa Barbara, which is $40,000 a year. You talk there. So when I graduate with my bachelor's, I'm in no debt. But when they had 40 times 4. So that's, 160,000 in debt for the same program. Like, we're not talking about the same thing if we say, is college worth it or not? Like, somebody could look at like, see, it's 160 grand, but I'm looking at it like, no, I paid nothing. So community college is huge for saving money. But so I think the financial aspect is a big part of that argument, I think. So if we take away the financial, you got to have discipline as a student to seek out extracurriculars at school. If you do school, I think correctly, in air quotes, and to go there and learn as much as you can and try to take the most out of it, you can get a lot out of it. Because some of my students will stay after class, talk to me, extract the most value they can from me, and other students, like, I don't know, or sometimes they don't show up, or they're coming in late or leaving early, and so like where are you as a student? Like, you can make this experience very worth it, but you can also make that experience very not worth it and then just leave you in debt. So I think it just depends on what they want and what they want to achieve. For me, it wasn't, I was going to school to like actually learn. Like, I wanted to learn how to be a good leader and facilitate and manage. Like, I was doing nonprofit stuff, but also firefighting. So I was like, I want to be like the best captain and like know how to manage teams and actually have like education on my back, like that has like leadership classes and like starting and finishing projects. So I was like really in it to learn. So I was, you know, kind of like talking to every teacher before and after class that I could, and talking to as many fellow students, and I was going to events, and I was a part of like the art intramural sports, and
You were getting a lot out of your tuition.
I
You
was,
were very
yeah,
involved.
I was
That's
trying to do as
awesome.
much as I possibly could.
I had the
So,
same approach in education. I also went to community college, which gave me a higher appreciation for the opportunities that university presented. And yeah, I was able to save a lot of money, but I grew up down in Ventura County, so all my buddies went to, or like half of them went to
yeah,
UCSB.
right, yeah,
And
dude, yes,
and yeah, so that scenario that you're talking about is totally real. But yeah, I like how you included that you know took advantage of all these opportunities. You really leveraged your degree and your tuition into opportunities. And I think that's an important takeaway for any of the audience that's listening. If you're you know, pursuing a college degree, or you're thinking about it, you know, that's definitely a good thing to think about is your involvement. Are you really, you know, using this degree and your education to the max? So
yeah, and I mean, people, I worked and went to school and did nonprofit stuff. I think a lot, we're all capable of working and going to school.
yeah, I wanna take it back to this nonprofit life of yours.
Oh, yeah.
You had this skepticism, you know, this you know negative attitude attached to business and profiteering and capitalism, which is a attitude that is very well among the community of Humboldt. You know, I've experienced living in Humboldt that there is this negative connotation attached to words like capitalism and corporate finance. And you know, I think we talked about on a previous podcast about, you know, the negative connotation behind being a finance bro or in the business world.
Yeah, there
and,
is.
And
there
so
is.
and so, you know, you were able to move on from that, and you know now you own your own business. But I'm sure you still see this negative connotation attached to capitalism and business in the world around you. Does this negative attitude towards capitalism and commerce ultimately have a negative effect on the economy here of Humboldt? Is it holding Humboldt back from being economically prosperous?
So I think that the skepticism that a lot of like Humboldt people feel for capitalism, I think, is built behind the wall of systems. So like I'm born and raised in Humboldt.
Yeah.
So you know, all my friends born and raised in Humboldt. So when you're born and raised in Humboldt, you are likely to grow up kind of like anti some of the systems out there.
I've noticed this.
Yeah, and some of these systems and that I talk about are maybe like the, you know, prison industrial complex, or the food industrial complex, or the healthcare industrial complex.
Agriculture.
A lot of people refuge to Humboldt for like to have freedom of just thought and freedom of just freedom away from some of the systems. We're kind of away and far from the corporate world.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley is a good 6 hours away.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of those fast frequencies up here. So the systems are, you know, big and powerful. And when you're just from this little Humboldt county, you kind of want to be free and away from these big, powerful systems. So when you run a business, you have to be, part of the system, and you have to pay taxes, and you have to, document and be accountable, and talk to the IRS and the state. So I think it is good to, be a part of a system that helps local community, like my taxes, all things, help the city that I'm in, the city I file in, the county that I'm in and purchasing. Like when I go and purchase $5,000 a month from these local stores like Ace Hardware and Pearson's and Millyard, because I'm buying stuff for fences, like I'm infusing the local community. So it's awesome to be a part of a business that gets to help the local community in a lot of different ways. So I think, people are skeptical because, systems are just scary and we don't know a lot about them. And it is intimidating to be, to feel like we're sometimes maybe forced into these boxes that the system puts us in.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna ask one more kind of
Yeah.
controversial one.
Please.
So, what is Humboldt's greatest challenge, and what do we need to change to solve that problem or face that challenge?
Well, I think our biggest problem is not visible yet. But I believe it could be letting in like mass capitalism, like the wind farm, like the fish farm, like the was it Google fiber optic cable. I think what we're gonna see in the next 10 years is a lot of like just mass amounts of corporate and corporations coming in that don't exist in Humboldt. We don't know who they are. I mean, the 5G tower going up by Redwood Park. Where a lot of the things are going to be out of our control because our local community has sold the rights to some of the land or sold some of these. These people lobbied for certain rights to put up these things. The fish farm in Manila is absolutely devastating for our community, and I was part of a nonprofit that had a speech. Like people come and talk about all this sustainability and how it's good for the community and all this and that, and it was just a bunch of greenwashing BS. Like I'd love to talk to anybody who thinks that that's going to be good for the community and hear what they have to say. I've heard from the fish farm people and from people who are lobbying for them, but by no means is something like that going to be good for our people. Oh, what is it going to bring jobs? Who? They're going to hire out people from outside of the area. They're not going to hire local people for that. So I think our biggest issue is not here yet. And I think our strength has always been focusing on like small businesses and focusing on uplifting the businesses here. A lot of businesses are the last names of people, Pearson's and what is it? We have Almquist. Like a lot of these businesses are actually attached to families that still exist, and if we lose our identity to people or businesses that just have a name that's some generic name with no human attached to it, I mean that's gonna be a sad day. So,
Dude, that's like, I didn't expect that answer from you because nobody's like said like our biggest challenge hasn't arrived yet.
oh yeah,
So that's a really cool perspective, and that would actually be really cool to get you on again with somebody who feels differently, like someone who's for offshore wind, and then you who are like who's against it. Like personally, I haven't done
debate.
enough.
That'd be cool.
That would be
Yeah,
cool
like I
stuff.
haven't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, the fish cube.
Yeah.
Put me in a debate with a fish farm like pro.
Do you know
person.
it? Do you know anybody?
don't know.
Okay, because we should.
I can find someone.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was talking.
But offshore, I'm less knowledgeable on that. But I still am like, I have yet to find a reason to be for it.
Yeah.
But I just know they're taking our energy in elsewhere, like our river. 40% of the Eel River goes to LA. Like, I'm sorry, but LA, don't take so much. Like, what the heck?
I know. I'm from San Jose, back in Silicon Valley, and I know that we send all of our water down to LA because they're always like in a drought. So like
Yeah,
My
there's-
drinking water is your gardening water.
Mm-hmm.
But
And they have soft
Yeah.
water
Wow.
down there, which is that's a whole nother topic.
I wanted to ask you, because I was
Yeah.
talking to somebody about this today. What if they brought, like, big corporate America or whatever brought a fucking AI data center out here? Like, what would be the pushback to that, and like what riot would ensue over that? Because there's no way around it. They're going to have to chop away like a big chunk of the forest
Okay,
to
so-
put that in.
It is coming, and it is going to be at Oric. Oric is for sale, and somebody is going to buy Oric as soon. Okay, so you wouldn't buy a town unless you have like local power or local or water. So like whoever's going to buy Oric and build like a Silicon Valley is basically waiting for, fiber optics and waiting for certain laws to be passed and waiting for cannabis to hit a certain point, or like all these like all what's going to be a Silicon Valley Oric. They need a little bit more infrastructure.
That's gonna
One
that's gonna
dash
cook us.
19 dash 2026. Matthew's calling it Silicon Valley, or at least AI data center in Oric. That's
That's gonna
It's up for sale.
All right.
It's, yeah.
That's gonna
if,
fell
be bought.
if
Humboldt
that
County.
happens, it's on camera. I owe you $1. I give you $1 if that happens.
I wanted to ask you about, so yeah, currently the date of recording this is January 19th, 2026. This podcast isn't probably going to be released till like March or April. So by the time this comes out, what I'm about to ask Matt about is not going to be a current event anymore. But the Arcata fire that just happened in like on January 2nd or whatever. The fact that you used to live right there in those apartments
Yeah, in that building.
that caught fire.
Yeah.
How does it feel hearing about that and how devastating that was? Because for background, entire block of Arcata, a staple businesses, like legacy businesses,
7 businesses.
torn to shreds in like one day. And it was like $18 million in value that was just erased. How did that make you feel, being a Humboldt local?
Definitely sad for the community down there. Like, yeah, close to the plaza. I mean, everybody's feeling that sense of just like pain and just agony. Like, even if you lost your business or not, you're just still like feeling so
Just walking
just
by
sad.
and seeing it.
Yeah,
It was.
Oh, man.
I drove past it when I got back up here from Christmas break, or like holiday break or whatever, and it was really sad.
Yeah.
Like I used to shop over there. Like, you used to live there. I used to pull up there. We used to hang out there. Like, and now it's just gone.
Yeah. I know. I lived there for 8 years exactly. Like September 1st, 2000 something whatever. But I moved out in 2025 and September 1st. And then it was just January 2nd when it happened. So I dodged a bullet. That was like 3 months. And I was like still gonna live there for a while, but then I got this opportunity for another house. So man, I would have lost so many Pokemon cards. That's why I would have been most upset about. All my Pokemon stuff.
Do you know how the fire started? Have they released anything? Like, was it arson? Was it?
They're
like, just a
still
house
under
fire?
investigation, so yeah, we don't really know. There's like grapevine talk, but like you can't really trust any of it.
So you're a big person in the Humboldt community and or in the Arcata community as well, and you support the city in various ways, and one of those ways is the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh yeah.
You help host the Young Professionals Mixer. What inspired you to start the Young Professionals Mixer, and what are your plans moving forward with it?
So shout out Gloria Baker. She owns Hounds of Humboldt. She was really the brain child behind the Young Entrepreneur Mixer or Young Professional Mixer. We used to do a podcast, business podcast, me and Gloria together.
You still do?
Yeah, still do, just a little on hiatus, yeah. And we had this idea of just bringing people together and having a mixer, because she hosts mixers from Chamber of Commerce, but we wanted a mixer where young people could feel comfortable walking into, because it's kind of intimidating going to the Arcata Chamber of Commerce mixers sometimes if you're like young. Imagine if you're 18, 19 years old, you're a college student, you want to start business, but you are like, you're taking your first business class. Like, how are you're going in this room where everybody knows everybody, and that's intimidating. So we create an environment where you come, it's primarily ages like 18 to 35. Come put a name tag on, mix, chat with like just much less pressure. People around your age, the young age group. So, and we've had always like 30 to like 45 people coming to them. So we've been really pleased. We've hosted them every 3 months for the last couple of years at different locations. So we've gotten great feedback. People like coming to them. It's small, intimate.
When was the last one?
Last one was it December, early December, or December, November? It was here. It's the start of Humboldt.
Oh, September. Yeah, that was like the day or like day after we started the podcast. Yeah. Okay. So I went to that one. Okay. Because I was gonna say I feel like I haven't been to one since last March.
Yeah, they're all blending together, like in my head. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, they're so fun.
Yeah, I'm excited
good
for the
time.
upcoming one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I want to.
It's cool to see a lot of people come together that are kind of like beginner or novice in their business world.
Yeah.
We don't have like too many people that are coming that are like making a bunch of money and super experienced. It's cool. It's a lot of just people that are trying to learn and figure it out, and a lot of people that want to start a business that haven't yet. And even if you've started a business and you're year 1, 2, or 3, you're still just so figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going into my 3rd year.
Nice.
So I'm like amped to see what
Yeah.
that entails. But it's definitely been hard.
Most people don't get past 5. So if you get past 5, that's
My goal is 5. And I'm
that's
hoping
goated if you get to
yeah.
5.
Yeah. Well, my goal is lifetime, but if I can make it to
Yeah.
5, that'd be cool. But I don't know. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, our main camera's about to die.
Oh, cool.
Do you have any final thoughts, advice, or tips for anybody who's listening?
I would say anybody who's listening is probably got the dog in them if you're in this deep into the podcast episode. So turn the volume up and listen to me closely. You got to work extremely hard in whatever you want to do. There's no shortcuts. So just have fun and so choose something you're going to have fun with. If I was doing manufacturing and I wasn't having fun, so I jumped out. Like, you sometimes got to know when to jump ship. So jump ship when you need to, or just work on that thing you want to do super hard. And I think we can do a lot more than we think. So figure out who you can talk to build your confidence up. Pick some mentors, micro mentors that could help just boost you a little bit, and just be eager to learn. Like, if you're eager to learn and willing to work, then that's a deadly combo. So just know that everybody has it in them. You just got to find out or do something that's like kind of sparking your joy.
I got one more question.
Yeah.
Before this camera dies. You wear a lot of hats. You're doing a lot of different activities, involved in a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
What's next for Matthew Cendejas?
Oh, man. So I'm trying to make my brand, expand its wings. So I'm Matthew's Lawn Care, but I also got my landscape license and my fence builder license now. So I've kind of minimized my logo to like Matthews, and I'm gonna be launching this like new like Matthews brand where I can be kind of just like more like anything, like Alves locally. Like Alves does like Alves recycling, like Alves resell lumber. Like they're Alves, but they have different things. Like I eventually want to have Matthews like painting, or Matthew construction, Matthews lawn care. So Matthews is like the overall brand.
The group holdings.
That's our.
Hell yeah, dude! You should franchise.
Eventually, maybe, I think if I build a system that's.
Yeah. Have you seen? I think you were the one who put me onto those YouTubers that help people, and like those YouTubers are a franchise. Like they help other people open up branches of their business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should do that.
I know. I think I possibly could. So
that'd be really cool.
I love where I'm at in my business, so I'm just gonna keep like 5 employees or less is so nice. Yeah, it's so great.
Well. Thank you for coming on.
Dude.
You were a dream guest of mine to bring on.
Let's go.
Ever since I've been ideating this back in July 2025, I was like, I want to bring on Matt. Like I wanted you to be like my first or second.
This was
guest.
inevitable to happen.
But I'm glad you were on now because back when we first started, everything was just so shitty. So I'm really glad you got to see it in its current form.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it. And I hope to bring you on again soon when you have franchised.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'll be on again. Chat, you'll see me again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, dude.
All
Yeah,
right,
thanks, Luke. Thanks, Andrew.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Shout out, Star of Humboldt.
Yeah, shout out Matthew's Lawn Care. Shout out Lost Coast Ventures, who he's a part of the board of. Shout out College of the Redwoods. And
shout out Young Professionals. Shout out Cal Poly Humboldt. Shout out Nancy. Shout out Gloria.
Oh my, the
Shout
list
out
goes on.
W's in the chat for all
yeah.
those people.
Yeah, the list goes on for you. I don't
Yes.
think. Yeah, this camera's gonna die before we get to the end of it.
There's a lot of shout outs to do. A lot of great people here.
But yeah,
locally.
that was another episode of Behind the Redwood Curtain. If you guys enjoyed that episode, please make sure to like and subscribe for more just like this. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. So peace.
Alrighty.
Sweet.
Alrighty.